I look short because I've got my standing desk up, but I'm also standing on my treadmill. Let me just break it down for you. So, it is currently 5 minutes to 10 on Tuesday. I got this out from the library, this beautiful large brick here, this 870, 30, 846 page brick from the library 2.5 weeks ago, and I have to give it back on Friday. And I haven't started it, I've been reading other books. I would very much like to read it, but I'm also not here on Friday, so I have to give it back on Thursday. But the library's only open 10 till 2 on Thursday, and I have a driving lesson for most of that time. So I realistically need to get it back for Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So we're doing a 12-hour readathon. I say we. I'm doing it and you're here for the ride, you lucky buggers. If we follow the maths of what I am generally able to read, I can read this in 8.5 hours. So I won't need the 12 hours, but I am human and need to do other things today. One of the things I need to do, because I know I'm not leaving the house, is get my steps in for today. Now on my days off, I try and make myself do at least 5,000 steps because I feel like a day off is a day off and I should be relaxing. So that's why my walking pad is out. I'm going to get the first chunk, if not all of that exercise done while walking. And then I'm going to finish it today. I hope. I really, really hope. That's the plan, because then I can take it back to the library tomorrow. And I've got 2 other books I need to pick up. So we're optimistic. If I do have time to spare at the end of this readathon, I'm also in the middle of another book called The Fair Folk. It's an anthology. And I would like to get a little bit further into that because I haven't even finished the first story, because it's an anthology and I find it really hard to make myself sit down and read anthologies. Which makes no sense because it's a smaller story than normal. It's so big, you can see it when I stand it up. Okay. It's a really lovely, sunny, wintry day, so I am absolutely fine with staying in. And I think I'm just gonna crack on. This is gonna be a spoilery vlog. I really hope you don't have to remember much about Priory because it's been like 2 years. And I'm not rereading Priory again, I don't have that much time in my life. I remember dragons, I remember sweeping epic countries. I remember a Priory of the Orange Tree, funnily enough. I remember sapphic relationships. I've got the thing where I can remember the images that I pictured in my head while I was reading it. I just can't necessarily remember the story that went along with those images to make it all make sense. So that's what we're here to do. I have my enormous Crosswitch hoodie on, which is one of my favourites. And yeah, we're just going to crack on with it. I will check in every so often, let you know what's going on, how I'm doing. And let's do this, because I've never tried one of these before. Okay, I am 84 pages into this monstrosity. I'm not super enthused, right, as of this moment. The first 3 chapters are just info dumpy. We follow 3 women in this story, and the first 3 chapters are just explaining the context of who they are and how they came to be and who their parents are and what the political climate is like in their areas. Which I didn't realise until I'd finished the first 3 chapters and reached the actual first chapter where the story started. And that was a relief, because if it had carried on in that vein I would have just DNF'd it. So we've got a little way into the story. I've met the 3 girls. We've got Dumai, Siyu and Glorian. I recognise the places that they are in, so I remember that from Priory. They are establishing themselves as characters. There's more characters coming in. There's a lot of like side people whose names are being chucked in and around sort of willy-nilly. There's been a couple of instances where Samantha Shannon has like referred to someone or inferred who they are with pronouns or titles, and then we'll refer to them by name a couple of sentences later, and I've had to go back and reread to check check I know and understand who she's referring to. So that's been a bit slow. Starting off with an hour of reading on the treadmill maybe wasn't quite the best idea because I wasn't using as much of my brain to like listen to this and understand it. So I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned I'm not going to be able to finish this in 12 hours. I'm also concerned I don't want to finish this in 12 hours. So I may end up DNFing this because it's not sucking me in and I'm nearly 100 pages in and life's too short. If that's the case, so be it. I've got 2 other books I want to get read before the end of October, or at least like attempted to read. I'm going to give this to the 150 page mark to suck me in, because if a book can't do that, it's really not fucking worth reading. So we shall see. There are independent women in this, there are sapphic relationships, I think there's even like asexual rep already in here. It could suck me in, it could not. I'm currently just not super interested in it, and I'm a big fan of DNFing, and I'm absolutely not going to force myself to read an 850 page book, whatever it was, because I think I should. That's not a good reason. Let's see how I go. Flop. I have DNF'd A Day, a Fallen Night. I got 180 pages into the book before deciding that the characters were so two-dimensional and archetypal and had, thank you, no substance at all. I didn't want to carry on reading, so I stopped. I didn't need 800 pages of predictable plot and so many names I couldn't keep track of them. I don't have the energy or the patience for a book that large that I'm not going to enjoy. So I stopped reading. I did then, however, finish the first story in this anthology, which I'm taking as a win because I don't often do well with anthologies. 6 stories about the fair folk, basically, which is my jam. It's got authors that I really like in here. And the first one I've read is by Tanith Lee, whose name I recognise, but I'm not sure if I recognise it because there's a character in Skullduggery Pleasant called Tanith. Potentially also Tanith Lee, I'd have to look that up. Or if I've actually heard of the author. So I might do some Googling in a minute. But I finished the first story in this, and I started this a week and a half ago, so I'm taking that as a win. Other than that, I've been feeling pretty shitty.
probably because I haven't left the house and I haven't really done anything productive today. Do you mind, Bunny? I move one thing and you have a hissy fit. So I've played Stardew Valley and I've watched Grey's Anatomy and I watched the Crash episode, which, if you know, just made me feel even worse. Like, I knew, I've seen that episode before and I still decided to watch it while I was in a bad mood. So, we're here. I've DNF'd one book, I finished one story. I might start another story tonight, but the thing about anthologies is it takes a lot of brain power for me to want to go ahead and start a story. And there are so many stories in anthologies, I have to have the same amount of like mental oomph to start a new story with those. So I'm just going to be kind to myself and we're not even going to try and finish this month. Every now and again I will treat one of the stories in the anthology as just another short novella that I want to read. And we'll go from there. And I think that's just going to have to work. Yeah, 12-hour readathon was a nice idea. I think I spent about 4.5 hours actually reading. So like, something came out of it. But overall, this was a bit pants. I think it's a bit of like my demand avoidance coming out. If I say, right, you're going to read for 12 hours, immediately I want to do other things. Like I had to-do list of things that I wanted to get done today and I didn't really get anything else done. Sorry for the pants vlog. Hopefully the next one will be better. Have a nice day.